What's up, guys? It's Lionel the Builder back again with another episode of how I was hired in less than a year as a self-taught programmer with no CS degree, no boot camp, or anything like that. All pretty much free resources except for Team Treehouse. Shout out to Team Treehouse. And this is the third episode. So if you haven't watched the first two, I suggest that, links in the description. Go ahead and watch those two, or maybe I'll put a card here somewhere. But so in the first one, I pretty much started with me being a truck driver and then went to where I was hired. In the second one, I gave a little bit more information on how a homework assignment from Leon Noel, where he told us to reach out to a web developer and take him out to lunch. And as awkward and, shy I was to do that, I actually did it. And then that led me to go to a book club where I then met Isaiah, who came with me and did the hackathon. We ended up winning the hackathon, and now he is my project manager for the startup that I work for. So that's just a quick little recap. If you want more information, go watch those videos. But in this one, I kind of wanted to double back, and because there's so much to my story, and as our channel grows and as more people join the school and join the Discord, I want to give more information to flesh it out because I really do feel like my story will help you guys. So this one is going to be on the importance of freelancing and how freelancing plays a major role in my ability to be prepared when it came time for me to interview, right? And when did I start freelancing? It was in my early 20s. I bought a camera off of Craigslist. Shout out to Ivan, my best friend, for encouraging me to do that. And then when I did, I was like, what do I do with this? He said, just go outside and take pictures and stuff. So I'll never forget when I walked to the stop sign at the end of my street, took a picture and looked at it, and I was like, wow, yeah, that looks good. I could do this. Started hitting people up for, photo shoots. I ended up making a name for myself with that. It would be funny if I pulled up my Tumblr right now, but I'll link that into the description because I did all sorts of graduation shoots, weddings. And how did I do that with no formal school was YouTube tutorials. I taught myself how to be good at photo and video. I did music videos for people. I worked for this company called High Impact Television Studios, which was, these are Craigslist jobs. For my entire 20s, I made money off of being a self-taught person. So I was already very comfortable with securing clients, having that conversation to get the people, to trust me to do the work for them. And this ended up being a superpower that I unlocked, which helped me with my developer career eventually. Now, again, going back to my 20s where it was all camera related, and then I eventually did a crypto startup where then I broke into our local developer community, startup studios. And that was when I made up my mind that I was going to be a web developer because I saw that, in a sense, the developer is kind of the most important person in the room, at least inside of the startup community, because what does every single startup need? They all need developers. They all need to build something. Either if it's an app or a web app or a mobile app or whatever it is, you're going to need someone who codes, and that person is usually the biggest expense on the team. And their time is so valuable, even for consultations, even to talk to them, even for code reviews. So just going through that and me being a founder who could not code was a little uncomfortable. I like being the person who can wear all the hats if I so choose to. And with my businesses that I was starting, I started a couple other businesses too that I might go back and talk about later. But in my businesses, I would make the logo, I would make the website on WordPress or Wix. I couldn't code. But I was always a person who liked to be able to just do whatever needed to be done. And that development was a huge roadblock for me. So that's what led me to teach myself how to code, to look into whatever I could on YouTube, Free Code Camp, Team Treehouse. Shout out to 100 Devs. I joined that community. I heard they're doing another cohort too. which would be ill. I'm gonna do it again. If Leon does start another group, I'm joining, because I'm not the perfect developer. I have a lot of holes in my knowledge that I'm filling in every single day with documentation and stuff. But who was the first client that I got as freelancing? So when I was truck driving, I was driving every single day past this smoothie shop that I eventually started stopping at. Became a regular client there because I'm a healthy dude. You know, I like to get fruit and stuff like that every single day, especially when I was driving all day. That was huge to me. So I got a pretty good relationship with them. And one day I created flyers for my friend Brian, who has a medical transport business. So I had about 500 flyers with me, and I was gonna meet with him to give him that box. We met at the smoothie shop, right? And the owner saw me. He knows me. I'm in there every day, and he was like, "What you got there, bro?" I was like, "Oh, these are some flyers that I made." So then he was like, "Oh wow, you do that?" I was like, "Yeah, I do. You know, I do a little bit of everything, you know." And he's like, "We need to talk," because he needed a digital display, his menu behind him. So long story short, that was my first web design client. Started with the menu, and then through that, I ended up creating his website. Not my first, that actually was just one of them. But so I created his website, right? Got that on to my personal website, my portfolio at the time. And then there was another person. There was this website back in the day called thumbtack.com. And this person's business was called Family Reunite Network. It was a guy he's an author. He actually walked from here to Mexico, which is insane, but he did it. It took him like a couple months. And it was in order to reunite with his wife, who could not get back into the country for some reason. Long story short, I found him on thumbtack.com and built a website for him as well. You know, we also started shooting a documentary. He was using all of my other skills as well. So that was another client that I had. Eileen, as you guys know, she works at Assembly. I built her website. And who else? Who else the website did? Oh, my tattoo artist, the person who did all of my tattoos when I was young. I pretty much have tattoos all over, and this was a good friend of mine. His name was Muhammad, and he came into town one day. He lives in Atlanta now. He came into town one day, and we were catching up, and he was like, "What do you do?" And I'm a web developer now, you know, aspiring junior. I freelance. I do a little bit of everything, but web development as well. So he eventually brought me on board to work on his website. He's has a carpentry business down in Atlanta now. So I also did that. So I'm telling you guys to show you that, yeah, except for Family Reunite Network, it was all people who I knew, who I had some sort of relationship with. And that is a great way for a junior developer to get his foot in the door and to start freelancing and to start picking up clients. It starts there. It starts with what is close to you. So if you're getting your hair cut, if someone is mowing your lawn, and you are a person who's a member of our community, if you're on this channel, that's pretty much the reason why you're here, is because you're interested in web development. So just start thinking always, I'm a web developer. Make a card if you need to. Of course, make your LinkedIn, make all of that stuff. And every single opportunity that you can, offer your services to somebody. You know, especially if you don't have any yet on your portfolio other than school projects, you need to lower the price, right? So that way, when the time comes for you to be looked at as, you know, from a company, and this is not going to get you into Google or Amazon or anything like that, but those aren't the only companies. Look outside, every single shopping center, every single business, they all need websites, right? And we're not really coding from scratch these days. You can easily spin up a 1-page, 2-page, 3-page for a business. I actually have a client that I just secured in Florida that we're writing up a contract and preparing Monday to work with them. So even to this day, even though I work as a full stack engineer now, I'm still open to opportunities. I'll make a one page a website for a business and do Google Ads. We have the skills, and you don't want to lock yourself into one thing and then be stuck and not getting stuff done because you think you're not ready yet or something like that. And so it's just a win-win for you in just about every single way possible once you start freelancing, getting yourself out there, building your personal brand, which is very important for you as a web developer. But then you have to work on your soft skills to be able to do this. A lot of times, developers have the reputation of not being the best with communication, but that's the good thing about artificial intelligence and ChatGPT is that it's allowing people who aren't just computer savvy, who also have the soft skills and communication to kind of slide in there, but then you have to work on your sales skills. You have to work on your communication to actually secure the client. You have to work on your confidence to, your negotiation and stuff like that. A lot of times people ask me, well, how much do I charge them? And I'm like, that depends on the case. And that's something that you kind of need to do a little bit of inner work to figure out yourself. Because, of course, you could go too high and lose them. You could go too low and just be miserable. Like, man, why did I charge this much? I would honestly say, though, if you're brand new at it, start low and get your experience up with it. And freelancing is going to be huge for you guys, and it's a superpower that is often overlooked. It's not really talked about in courses for some reason. So that's why I'm making these videos, to give my path what I know can really help people. That's really what I try to focus on, the things that don't get spoken about a lot, like using templates, even though we're still using GitHub, we're still using VS Code, we're still continuously, setting up the CI/CD and connecting the domain and the SSL certificate. We're still doing all these things, but we can easily churn them out with templates. But I'm glad, I wanted this to be around 10 minutes. This is my video for the day. For those of you who don't know, I am the leader of the Digital Builders. We have a school community. We have a Discord community. And I put out videos every single day to give an example of what it takes to be a self-taught programmer, to always be increasing your skills, moving up, and, increasing your personal brand and growing as a developer. AI is not taking our jobs. We're out here, we're breaking through, we're building. Check the links in the description. Watch the other videos if you haven't yet. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.